Hello, welcome everybody. This is Cynthia. I am from Including You Journals, and today I just want to show you a quick idea for a card, or a tag rather, and how I actually went about doing this. I don't like how it turned out. I started out by making a template, or at least a prototype, and I didn't care for it at all. I came in and put eyelets in here, and my eyelets were too large, and I didn't, one came out before I could even finish. So I thought, well, I'm going to show this to you because this is the size that I'm making, and I'm going to do something similar. I'm just going to change my game plan. No eyelets and no topper for this type of card, but here I've used a Rolodex card and covered it, and then just a little Christmas something or another that could go for a little tag or a card for a journaling spot there, a little tuck. And then on both sides of the back of the cards are places for one to write. This could also, something like this could be put into a journal for a tuck spot or for a pocket if you wanted to come in this way here. And this part could still be used to write on, if you want to try to figure out how to do that a lot better than I did. But the whole point of this was that my eyelet was too large for what as far as the thickness of the eyelet going from the front to the back. And when I tried to mash with my Crop-A-Dile, it just went askew. And so I could be user error, but I've used these quite a bit. I just have bought a new little bag of eyelets, and these were too long. So this is how I started, and I'll show you how I'm going to rectify this and make something similar but a little different as well. I started with a file folder. I also want to tell you that this is too thick for me. Even though this is cardstock, by the time I put everything on the card that I wanted to, it just became too thick as a tag for me. If you don't have a problem with that, then please don't worry about it. Go ahead and use cardstock file folder. I was able to get 6 cards, 6 tag shapes out of this one file folder piece, and I wanted to lay that there to show you. I started off by choosing Christmas paper that I liked. Excuse me while I pull it out and turn it back over for you. And here are the cards, and the card sizes are just a smidge over 3.5 by, and this is all I had. I'm in the process of moving, so I don't have everything handy, and just under 6.5 inches. I didn't start by measuring anything. I just simply cut a template and began cutting out cards that I thought that I might want to use. Okay, the next thing I did was after I glued the first ones to the Christmas paper, then I cut them out, as you can see here. And not all of them. I had a base of Christmas paper. This is actually a page out of a ledger. I've looked for 4 years for a ledger, scouring antique stores, and I finally found one that I love. This is from 1897, 1887, depending on what pages were actually used. This shows the date. This column was the date. Whatever had been kept account of was paid off. April 12, that would be 1897. And I thought that was kind of cute and thought I might use this, even though I wanted to do something kind of Christmassy. But after I cut those out, then I simply glued them one at a time onto a piece of tea or coffee stain paper. And this is what that would look like if I were showing you that now, one at a time. Here's the actual date, 1897, and this is not a copy. This is a real piece of ledger that I'm actually using here. And I also got a little carried away and had to put a snowman on the front of this one. And I have not cut those apart yet from the coffee or tea stain paper, but they're ready to go. I also left these here because I didn't want all of my backgrounds to be necessarily Christmassy, even though I might use some of them for Christmas, but I thought I also might use them for other things as well. So I have an old encyclopedia page from the early 1900s, and I just glued that on there and have not cut those apart, and I wanted to show that to you. I hope I'm not flipping too much. I have to watch this video and make sure that I don't. Also, I can see, and hopefully you can too in the camera, that these are scalloping a little bit. This is where they were wet with the glue and the glue has dried. Once you glue something on this opposite side, they'll settle right back down and be flat. And if that fails, and it doesn't, but if that fails, I usually will stick mine in between the pages of a really heavy book. And overnight, they come out just as flat and beautiful as if I'd ironed them. Again, just showing you different ones. These were used, I used that same template that I had started earlier, but these were the back portion of old Christmas cards that I thought I might use. And I put this paper, was from a 1970s recipe book. And I thought that would be fun to put some things on as well. Again, dictionary page, recipe page, and dictionary. And just wanted to show you how I did those. So mass making, that allows those tags to be dried so that I can come in, cut them apart, and use them however I want to. Now, I told you that I didn't like using the eyelet that I had chosen because it just didn't seem to work very well. So I'm going to borrow some inspiration from Miss Wendy at Wendy's Journal Adventure. I absolutely love watching Wendy, and I don't know if she will ever see one of these, but they're just, I get a lot of inspiration from her and from Rachel at Roxy Creation as well. But Rachel often will use cotton muslin that she will tear and then use it as a way to bind two items together so that she can create a flip. And so that's the way I'm going to choose to proceed with what I'm doing. And I want to do that next before I try to do any kind of decorating of these cards. So on the first part, and I am using, it's not in its proper or its original container, but I am using art glitter glue. It sticks great to paper and fabric, and it's easy for doing anything online. Now I just simply put this here, and then I'm going to flip it. And this will go on the back of this card. Glue once again down that edge. And I'll bring that material around. Okay. And I will have a flip. I love how that works. That is such a great idea. So thank you to Wendy at Wendy's Journal Adventures. Thank you so much. This is something that I enjoy using. I want to say that Rachel uses this as well sometimes for putting pages into journals or whatnot. And I see a little bit where it's not sticking. And I just want to make sure I have that glued down very well. There we go. And now let's proceed with actually decorating our tag. And I am going to use, again, I'm trying to utilize some old Christmas cards. So this is a snowman that I've just fussy cut out. I started in the first tag. I'm going to bring him back up for just a second and show you. I started him in the very center of my tag, And I didn't like that when I chose to use an eyelet there. So even though I may not be using an eyelet, I'm going to off-center him just a little bit. And then I'll come back with some type of maybe a label or something else, or even some book page that I can add down this side as well. Having beautiful weather here today. It's in the lower 70s. I am in the process of moving. You may have noticed I do not have my pink board out today. It's because it's at my home. I'm in a sort of a halfway place in another city with family, looking for a place to find for myself. But it's absolutely gorgeous day here today. And I am not very asymmetrical when I craft, or when I set up my home. I like things to be a little off-center. I find that to be pleasant to my eye. You may not. You may want him in the very center. Please put him where you want him, whether it's a snowman or anything else that you're using to decorate. And I'm just making sure that I'm giving that art glitter glue a chance to connect. It usually connects very quickly. Okay. And then, let's see, something a little dark to pull from the hat, I believe is what I'm going to use. And I don't always do that, but oh well, there I go. And let's see, maybe one more label here. I like odd numbers when I decorate. I don't know if that's a rhyme or reason, but somewhere I think I've heard that. And I think I like that. Okay, so I'm going to open him up. I'm going to leave this side blank as is, because this is a side that I would want someone to be able to journal on. So it is free to be able to journal on. And I really vacillated about covering up this piece of ledger because as far as I'm concerned, ledger is hard to come by, and it is something that I really simply want to be able to use and not show. It was a pretty penny to purchase the ledger, and I don't want to use it. But I have little columns with check marks, so I have created a little pocket out of other Christmas paper. And I don't know why I feel like I have to do that, because I don't think you do. He's going to go right here. And I cut a large divot in my paper because I wanted to be able to get in and out very easily with that. Again, this paper matches that front side. I wouldn't have to do that. I might like even a third page, and I might come back and actually change it out later, but it's a little something that can be written on inside the pocket, at least to show on camera as I'm videotaping. And I did choose, let me pull this back out for a second. I did pull a couple of flowers out. I wanted to see if something else might look pretty there. And I believe that's going to be it for me. I like the greens there with all of that green. And let me get this on camera. And when I glued my papers, the tag shape, the template, and also when I glued the coffee and tea stained papers as well. Just wanted to make sure I got that in there. Okay. Oops. Yeah, come on around there. You have to work quickly with art glitter glue because it dries so quickly. I did use Yoo-hoo glue stick to glue down the papers onto the card base. But it's quicker for me, and I feel like everything gets all the corners as far as the paper. And I always double check. I try to look to see if any of these corners, excuse me, are coming undone. I usually will take a little bit of art glitter glue and just put some back in there. All right, so here, I just simply don't want to cover up this ledger page any more than what I have done. I'm going to leave that as is. Nothing else on that base. Sometimes simple goes a long way. Sometimes more is more. Sometimes more is not enough, is too much. Okay, and so here, the back of this card as well. And what you could do with this, if you were putting it in a journal, let's see if I have any kind of page here handy that I could just show. And I really don't, but this is a book. If I wanted to put it into a journal, I could just simply put it here, and then I would probably clip it so that I could pull it out and write, and then have something that I would right here be able to access whatever's in this pocket along with what I want to use on the back. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week, and hope the rest of your week is just as wonderful as today, or that, if it's not going so well, that it actually gets a lot better. I appreciate you joining me. See you in the next video. Bye.